Alright, Colt here. Sorry about the poorly edited and cut together video. I've got a very specific reason for it, as I'm essentially splitting this into two videos. One of them is just going to be a mini video about my results. So, I just wanted to give a brief overview of the actual scan day, and then where things go from there. So, I had my scan on Friday, and I get inconsistent information about whether I need to fast or not fast, so I usually fast, and if I fast, then they tell me, well, you didn't need to fast, and if I don't fast, then they tell me I should have fasted, so I just err on the side of caution, and I fast. So when you go to your scan, you got to make sure that you are not wearing any metal. So I've already told you kind of about the ritual that I go through, but then on top of it, I usually wear like a tracksuit or something like that, where I know that the pants don't have any zippers, snaps, anything of the sort, no metal eyelets, because you're going in a big magnet machine, and that can cause some troubles otherwise. So picture here, maybe another picture, maybe I'll put one over here. Now it's probably going to be over here because I'm lazy. But just some pictures of me leading up to that scan. So it's not only a scan, it's also blood work. So they do a basic metabolic panel, they do a full CBC, and then they also do some tests to make sure that I've got the correct nutrients in my body, and they also do some cancer marker testing. So I don't have a port anymore, everything's taken through my arm. They suck a bunch of vials of blood out, they send them to the lab, and then I wait for those results. Those usually come quicker than the scans. Then the scan itself, I mean, it's a big tube that you lay down in. And this particular machine, I have now sat in, I think, 14 times. There's another machine that I don't have a picture of that is in a different city. And that's where I did my original scans, and also one scan in between. And I will say that the machine that I'm going into for this scan, or at this point have already gone into, is one that I've always been okay with because I've always gotten good results in that machine. And again, I don't want to sound superstitious, but we can get triggered by places where bad things happened. And the machine in Edina, it was just unnerving. Like there's this weird tropical paradise panel that looks like it's from the 1970s up on the ceiling, and it's supposed to give you this, this sense of peace as you're getting kind of hoisted into this machine. And it never did that to me. And in fact, anytime I would see that particular scene, it would just bring back memories of the first time that I was scanned and I lit up like a Christmas tree. So, blood work gets done, and the scan itself is not too long. Now, we can do PET scans, we can do CT scans, we can do combo scans, and I've had kind of the full gamut. More recently, they've just been CT scans, so they're pretty quick. And when I say pretty quick, I mean the difference is full test might be like 30 minutes if I do a combo PET CT, but if it's a CT with contrast only, I'm usually in and out in less than a minute. And that includes the prep and everything else. It's quick. They make you chug a bottle of water. And I will say that this is one thing that I wish I would have known before my 5-year mark. They always told me I needed to chug that 20-ounce bottle of water as quick as possible, and I needed to finish it before I could go into the machine. And that's what I've done for the past 15 scans. And now for the 16th scan, my final one, the tech tells me, just drink as much as you want. It's actually not a big deal. You don't have to finish it. You don't have to chug it. And I did anyways because I'm stubborn, and if I've done it 15 times already, I'm going to do it the 16th time. I'm going to give myself the full experience. So I got that down. I took off my necklaces. Now they don't scan really anything, like my arms don't get scanned, so I don't need to take off like bracelets, watches, anything like that. The scan basically goes from my neck all the way down through my pelvis, and that's that. So again, in and out pretty quick, and then they give you instructions that you are supposed to chug a bunch of water throughout the day because this contrast is a bit toxic for your kidneys, and they want to make sure that you flush things out and your kidneys don't get damaged. So I went through the scan, and now you're going to get a bit of a cut. So I had my scan on Friday, and every other time I've had a scan, they've pretty much gotten me my results back that same day, and they told me that they would. However, unfortunately, this time around, they didn't, and I had to wait the weekend, which that's pretty nerve-wracking because, of course, you go to, you know, why didn't they release it? Why are they taking so long? But it sounds like it was just a Friday and nobody wanted to get it done, so they waited until Monday. So I woke up this morning, really only slept a few hours, and as I was kind of mentally preparing myself to make it through the day, I got a notification in my online chart that my results were in, and posting them here. Very short and sweet. There's no evidence of malignancy. So this theoretically is my last scan, certainly my last scheduled scan, and that ends my 5 years of surveillance. So I'm again drinking that bottle that I bought for myself over 5 years ago now, and it feels a lot realer. It's bittersweet, and I'm going to cheers myself, but I can't help but think about all the people that I've lost throughout the years and all the friends that I made who aren't here anymore. And that's survivor's guilt. That is what it is. So I'm going to drink this to me and my health, but I'm also going to drink this in the memory of all those people who we've lost and who are still fighting and who are survivors, and everybody in this community, the caregivers, the ones who are left behind. So cheers. I'm also going to do something that's probably going to start my house on fire, but my buddy James, who I've posted about before, sent me a care package after he had gone through surgery. And one of the things that he had sent me was one of these party crackers. And I always hoped that I'd be able to pop this off with him and we could both celebrate, but unfortunately James isn't here. So I'm going to do this in his honor and probably start my house on fire. Definitely going to make this dog next to me freak out, and I'm going to feel bad about that. She won't move. She was fine. That wasn't as bad as I expected it to be. So I'm still here. And y'all are stuck with me for a while at least. But I'm not going to go away. There's a lot that I want to do to help this community. There are a lot of people who still need mentorship and guidance and friendship and compassion or companionship, and I'm going to be around for that. So thank you for sticking by me for these 5 years. Thank you for not giving up on me. I couldn't have done this without all of you. All right, so now we've all gotten the news. We know that the results were positive. Good, I will say that. Positive is something that we've got an interesting relationship with that, because positive can mean thumbs up. Positive could also mean that you tested positive for something. So I will say that I had good results, exactly what I wanted to hear. No changes throughout basically any of my scans. Everything's been stable. No sign of malignancy, no sign of spread. It's really the best we could have ever hoped for 5 years ago. And I am immensely thankful for that. Now, I'm recording this on Monday, so a few days after my actual scan. And there's not going to be a lot to say between now and my final appointment, which happens on Friday with my oncologist. So I might just finish up this video with a few pictures. Maybe I'll give some more commentary if there's anything else that I feel is necessary to say. But the takeaway here is everything looks good. My blood work looks normal for somebody who has a stomach. I've had it said to me by my oncologist and my primary doc that if they didn't know that I had gone through my surgery and chemotherapy, that there's really nothing in any of my blood work that is abnormal whatsoever. My nutrient levels are great. My CBC's fine, my metabolic panel's fine, everything looks really, really good. And I have just been immensely fortunate through this, that I have not had a lot of the issues that a number of other people have had. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's an artifact of the way that I eat. I don't know if for whatever reason my body has just done a really good job of adapting to this. But I've, again, been incredibly fortunate. So over the next few days, I'm going to go about my business. And Friday afternoon's going to roll around, and I'm going to go meet with my oncologist, and that's going to be that. I already was told ahead of time that as long as everything was clear in this last scan, that I was getting cut loose from surveillance. And that's kind of the standard course. Sometimes people get scans for a little bit longer, and certainly my doctors are going to be diligent if anything pops up. I'm going to be diligent, and I'm certainly going to pay attention to my body, and if something does feel off, I'm certainly going to do what I need to do. And I'm going to continue to push for endoscopies and colonoscopies just to make sure that everything looks stable on the inside and that we're getting those biopsies, because ultimately that's how I was diagnosed in the first place. So that's pretty much what I had to say today. I might give, again, a brief update after my last appointment. If I can convince my oncologist to take a picture with me, I might splice that in here as well. But that's going to be the end of this part of my journey. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm done making videos, because there are a number of topics that I think are incredibly important. And I also want to cover the last half of my treatment, which is really where I struggled the most. Those last 4 rounds of chemo were hell for me. And for people who saw me going through it, I can honestly say that that's the closest I've ever come to death in my life. At least that I know about. Maybe there's an assassin that almost had a shot on me and they decided not to take the shot. But as far as threats I know about, that's the closest I've ever come. It's the sickest I've ever been. And people who saw me during that time knew how bad off I was. So I want to cover that in more detail, because it's a struggle that I think is important to discuss. And it's a time of weakness too for me. And I think it's important to recognize that we can have moments of weakness, and the ability to share and discuss those are a strength. And I want to make sure that people who are going through this feel like they can talk about those moments of weakness, because it's a tough time in our lives. And if we're not able to talk about it, we're not able to process it, we're not able to get through it, we're not able to ask for the help that we need. And I think that's immensely important. So again, a number of topics I want to discuss here. And again, if there are any topics that you want to hear about, all you got to do is let me know. I'm an open book, and I really just want to be a resource to this community and help share my experience. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all that you've done for me over the course of the years. And I know I've said it once already during this video, but I couldn't have done it without the help of others. Now, I like to think that I'm this incredibly stubborn person who just refuses to die, and that's certainly not false. But there were days that I just didn't think I could keep going. And I've had those recently as well. And I've been so incredibly fortunate to find this community of other patients and other survivors who love each other and are there for each other and support each other, and we're really each other's rocks. And I can't thank them enough for this. And again, that's why I keep plugging Debbie's Dream Foundation. Now, again, link's going to be in the description here. Also, you're going to get sick of seeing this card, but I'm going to keep including it. But Debbie's Dream Foundation was immensely helpful for me. They do a ton of good, and if you feel like donating, if you feel like providing for a good cause, I would absolutely plug Debbie's Dream Foundation. And if you're a patient and you're watching this, or if you're a caregiver and you're watching this, or if you're a survivor and you're watching this, please reach out to Debbie's Dream Foundation. They do a lot of good work. They've got a ton of resources. They have a mentorship program. They have a lot that they do for this community. And please, please take advantage of that. So again, this is Colt. Thank you so much for being here throughout these years. And we'll talk soon.